Well, good evening and welcome to a... What day is it?
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
I don't even know what date it is.
Is it Tuesday night?
It's the 18th of November.
It's the 18th of November. It's a Tuesday night in beautiful, rainy Wales. Welcome.
Ooh,
welcome.
Croeso Cymru.
Croeso Cymru. Welcome to Wales and welcome to another episode here on the Saints and Sinners with the wonderful...
Me.
You didn't sing this time.
I didn't. I
You normally
decided
sing.
every time I sing, I go, Rogue, Saints and Sinners. So I decided not to do that.
Okay.
So today it's just yo.
And with me, Richie. Just Richie's fine. I mean, I've been called a lot of things in my life, but Richie works for me. In fact, someone said the other day, they don't like me being called Richie. You should be called Richard, your real name.
I feel like if you're called Richard, you're being told off.
Exactly. And I don't want my mother coming in the studio and telling me off.
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And thank you for all of our subscribers. We really appreciate you, Don't Be Rogue. And please, if you've not subscribed already, why not hit that subscribe button and the notify me button. So when we go live, you get an email, a push notification to let you know that we're live. I think that's amazing technology, isn't it?
I know, it's great when it works. When it doesn't work, like today, X went down.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet everyone's like having severe panic attacks.
I know. Can you imagine Dave?
Oh my gosh!
Imagine,
Oh my gosh! What do I do? What do I do? I can't scroll! I can't scroll! I can't scroll!
Can you imagine Dave Atherton if X went down? I mean, he'd be lost. It's like chopping off his left arm. I mean, it'd be.
Oh, bless
him. It makes people realise how much people do use social media today. But it went down for a few hours and outdated, wasn't it?
It was absolutely.
And I got to tell you, I got a confession to make. While you were getting your makeup ready in the studio bathroom, I was crapping myself. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the internet in the studios was also down.
We're okay now, though, right?
We're okay.
Can everybody see what
we're
we're doing?
Like
Are our microphones okay?
Yeah,
everybody hearing everything?
Yeah, just let us
we're
know
all
in
good.
the comments. We're going to come to comments questions later because we've got a massive show lined up tonight. We've got some incredible guests on. So let's get this party started, as they say.
Where's Shoaib?
He's in the green room at the moment. He's just disappeared, probably gone to the bog. Anyway, so we'll introduce our speakers and guests a little bit later. But you did something very interesting today, didn't you?
I did. I went on the streets of wet Wales and I was freezing cold, hence why I'm wearing my big pretend faux
That's
coat.
A real bear. Don't let it fool you.
No, it's not. It's faux. It's completely faux. And I'm wearing it because... Will you be quiet? I literally am wearing it because I was freezing, like so cold to the bones, because I decided to go out on the streets to see what people really thought
about this guy.
Keir Starmer. This man who believes that he is going to actually do a decade in power. He is refusing to leave despite opposition. He just thinks he's going to do it.
Do you think he's going to get in next time? No, come on, let's be honest. I mean,
people don't like him. People, in fact, hate him. And people think that he's ruining this country.
They do.
And so I went on the streets to have a look and see what people really thought of him. Are you going to put it on?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to cue it up. And
let's go.
Let's go.
So today I went out and I had a conversation with a few members of the public to see their thoughts on Keir Starmer. Here you go. So what do you think of Keir Starmer?
Well, there you are. I don't know. I don't think he's a strong leader. I'm just thinking, you know, he's guided by others, yes, which you do, but he doesn't come over as strong as a leader as we would like to, anyway. So,
what would you say is the biggest concern at the moment for this country?
I think if you listen to the media, I think immigration is probably the main talking subject at the moment, and the worries surrounding, especially the boat crossings. I think immigration obviously has benefits, but I think what we're seeing now is not so much immigration as it's economic migrants, which aren't good for the country, in my opinion, because they bring in cheap labour, etc., and affect the working population of the UK. So at the moment, because of the boat crossings, I think it's having a negative impact on the country.
What could Keir do to resolve this problem, do you think?
I don't think he can. I don't think he's got it in him. He hasn't got his backing of his party's backbenchers, etc. He's a dead man walking, sorry. Smashing the gangs. I mean, once you take a gang out today, there's somebody there to replace them tomorrow, so that's not going to work. So maybe it is time for change.
Did you vote Keir Starmer in?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Gutted.
You're gutted.
Gutted.
Okay, why are you gutted?
The country's gone to crap.
Say shit. Go around.
It has gone to shit. I get minimum wage. I'm 44, disabled. I still work. It's like 20 plus hours a week. And obviously for what? Supposed to be making hundreds of people redundant and stuff. No.
It's about trusting your politicians. There's nobody out there that you can trust, is there?
No. No, not at all. I don't like Nigel Farage. I don't like any of the politicians.
So if you were in power, what is the first thing that you would do?
Well, to me, every single job is important. Whether you're a bin man or you're the Prime Minister, every job is important because if bins don't get emptied, but like it should benefit you to work rather than to be out of work. You're really stubborn and refuse to quit. So I would put myself in a wheelchair quicker if I gave up my job, which I refuse to do.
When people that are disabled, then that's obviously.
But even normal people who aren't disabled, who just don't. I mean, they know how to fiddle the system. I don't know how to do that. It's like, but I also don't want to do that. Like, I don't like it when people always take from the pot but don't put back in. It's like you've got to contribute. Otherwise, what's the point? So.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. Keir Starmer and Labour. How do you feel that they are running the country?
Well, I think it's still too early to know, frankly. I see a great deal of potential there, and let's give them time to see and show us what they can do.
So Labour have been in for a year. How do you feel that Labour are handling the country right now?
Not very good.
Okay. What do you think of Keir Starmer?
not much.
So who would you want in?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You've got to guess. Well, the Liberal now, I think, be a time for them, isn't it? Yeah, I know this immigration is going out of control, but I don't agree with reform and everything, but I do agree with some.
Yeah, I think Reform are quite open, and I think that they're actually handling the situation that Keir isn't handling, and I don't think it's racist to follow them. Do you feel like if you were to vote for them that you would be deemed as a racist?
Well, I wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind having a go, let them have a go, and, people are getting fed up with the others now, so...
Yeah. Of Advance UK?
Advance UK?
Advance UK.
No, I haven't heard.
Okay, so there is a man called Ben Habib, and he actually runs Advance UK. It's a new political party, and if you have a look at it, you will see that he's actually a Pakistani, but he is standing up for this country, and he doesn't want illegal immigrants coming in, and he wants to stop the borders.
Yes.
But he is not a racist, and he can't be called a racist because he's a Pakistani.
Oh.
So, quick question. What do you think of Keir Starmer?
Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, is that the one you were talking about, yeah?
Yeah, Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Have you heard of him?
I have heard of him, but I don't even have a telly. So I don't watch telly or nothing. I listen to the radio, and that's who I am. Like, I'm Stephen,
So let me ask you a question. If you haven't heard of Keir Starmer and you aren't watching TV, what do you know as to what is actually happening in this country at the moment?
Nothing.
This is brilliant. You've just taken yourself off grid and you just don't want to know and you don't care.
I don't care. I don't give a shit.
It seems that every single generation has an issue with illegal immigration. It is there, it is obvious, it is evident that Keir Starmer is not liked, Keir Starmer is laughed at, and people don't think much of him. And that is every single generation. I filmed some girls who didn't actually want to go on camera, and they actually said that they can't stand Keir, and actually he's ruining what their future is. There you go, girls. I've said it for you like I promised. Now, please just recognise that Keir Starmer is a farmer harmer and he doesn't give a fuck about you or this country.
Woo! Rogue! She was out and about in the wild today, boys.
And it was cold, really wet. But hey ho, I got some answers. How funny was that, Steve? So can I just quickly say, right, when I actually interviewed the last guy, Steve, he was a little bit drunk, but bless him. I actually said to him, honestly, what do you think about Keir Starmer? And he went, who? And I went, Keir Starmer. And he just went, sorry, I don't know who he is. And I had to say, he's actually a prime minister. And he went, no clue, which is why the interview said, obviously, that he had no TV, but he was brilliant. And he just doesn't care. He's whatever.
I just like this thing. I'm Steve. All right, Steve. We know you're Steve. He was fantastic. And what's going on in the country? Nothing. Well, there's a lot going on in the country in it. And joining us tonight, we've got two lovely guests. But before we get to them, just some comments, Rogue. Do you want to go ahead with some of the comments? Thank you so much. I got them.
Okay. Lovely to see your beautiful faces. Jay, your hair looks lush. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Perfectly. Oh, nice coat, Rogue.
Oh, look at my picture there again.
Andrew is here again. Paul.
Andrew with my picture.
And Paul. Hi, Richard. Nice to see you.
Richard, he said your name Richard because obviously this is the guy that said your name should be Richard.
My friend from the Valleys, Paul. Appreciate that. Another one here. Hi, Richie and Rogue. We are watching from sunny Spain.
Wow, it's raining here and floods everywhere. So that's rubbish.
Yeah, we're not jealous at all, really, Rogue, are we? Great to have you on tonight with us as well. If you're watching, wherever you're watching from. Great to see you again. Another one here. Let's have a look.
Oi, peeps. Good to see you again. It's great to see you too. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for your comments. Keep them coming in during the show because we will be playing some of them back and we will be taking your questions tonight as well. But we've got loads of subjects to get through. And we are so blessed and fortunate tonight because we've been trying to get this gentleman on for quite a while, actually.
Here's my secret love.
He is.
I love him.
He sends love letters and everything to you. Unbelievable.
And I wanted him on.
Yeah.
It's out of two people, isn't it? Who is it?
I know.
Dun.
Hang on. Let's have a little drum roll. Should we? Let's just do this.
Who is it?
There we go. There he is.
Yay!
Woo! Dave, it is the one, the immutable, the campaigning journalist, as he's been called by Kevin McKenzie. It is the one, the spectacular, the man of the hour, the great, wonderful ex-commentator. It is, of course, Dave
Atherton.
Hello. Glorious introduction. Someone asked me what you do for a living. I'm an ex-shit poster, so.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, it's great to have him on, Rogue.
Do you know, you were the first person that I wanted to ever come onto the show, but we ended up getting Rich Donaldson on, and we had to have, who else did we have on?
We've had a few different people on. We've just started doing the live. Ricky Doolan, Bishop Kai. We've had Ben Habib on. We've had, we had Councillor Ray on.
He was funny.
One night as well with Simon, was it?
Yeah.
It was a HGV driver. Brilliant. By the way, Simon, if you are watching, we love you on the show, mate. You are a comedy waiting to be explored.
But you were my first choice.
Yes, you were, David. You were indeed. The time you said eyes in Swansea, the first time you said eyes now, I remember what you said to me. We'll keep that for another time, all right? You're like, I should go to answer you. Something I was just, anyway, we're not going to go there. But thank you for joining us, David. Now, tell us, Dave, you've been really busy because we follow him on X, don't we?
We do. I love watching your stuff because you are just literally here, there, and everywhere. What's been going on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, people ask me what the secret is of having 325,000 followers. I still haven't got a bloody clue. I tell you, I just don't have a bloody clue how I did it. But people seem to like my content, and for some strange reason, I get 1 billion views a year on my stuff. Not that you would ever call me influential. No, I think, joking apart, where it comes from is that there are a few things on X that weren't being covered, namely immigration, and I was one of the people to step into the fold and hopefully reasonably comment on what's going on. I look upon militant Islam, not Islam. Militant Islam as an existential threat to this country, and it really has to be brought to the fore what is wrong and what is right with Muslims in this country. You call racist, bigot, gammon, far right all day long. It's now water off a duck's back. A lot of people turn around and say to me, Rogue, how do you put up with all that abuse? all day long. And well, you just get used to it. It's an occupational hazard. I'm monetized and followed by Elon Musk, so it pays my bills just about, and I get to meet some wonderful people like you guys.
Oh, fantastic! We love you.
He wasn't talking about you.
Oh, all right, okay, bye.
Well, look at the intro. Look at the intro, Rogue. You can see why my attentions are more on you than they are on Richard.
Why, thank you.
Which intro are you talking about? No, you want to know about that intro, Dave?
Right, hands on the table.
All hands on deck.
Warrior woman,
she is a warrior.
At your service.
She is indeed. She is indeed. I'm just talking to Rogue actually while we were watching some of the video clips back there. Who is Dave Atherton? You
See, now I have watched him. I see him, but who truly are you? What makes you tick? What makes you get up in the morning?
A burning sense of injustice of this country. I suppose theoretically I'm a lifelong Tory leaning type person, but I'm afraid to say they have 14 years to fix the country. They completely and utterly failed. Labour are just the Conservative Party on steroids. I just cannot believe how incompetent and useless these people are. It's probably being the Prime Minister and or being a government minister. It's a lot more difficult than it looks. It's like everything in life, And I just cannot. Rachel Reeves was banging on about a 20 billion black hole left by the Tories. But she's managed to make that into an 80 billion pound black hole, and we're sending money out to Pakistan to fight paedophilia. I don't know.
I mean, the world's gone mad, Dave, isn't it?
Why do we send 17? Yeah, I know. So, why do we send 17 billion pound of our money abroad? Every year. For things like the Ethiopian Spice Girls and things like that. It's and they won't even take their convicted criminals back. It's just it beggars belief how awful these people are. I very very briefly, I would put it down to the political class thinking. It's there was a scene in Yes Prime Minister where Sir Humphrey says, we don't judge our departments by our share price or our profits. We judge our departments by how many people we employ and how big our budget is. This is all about a power trip. This is narcissism, in the most extreme. And people go into politics to tell us, boss us around, and tell us what to do.
Yeah, brilliant. Right, Dave. Well, we've had an introduction to who you are, and I know your X followers. This is out on our X tonight on @LandSinners, which Rogue looks after. That's her X account, so make sure you give her a follow. She'd appreciate it, I'm sure. And we're on there tonight as well. We're going to be on Facebook very soon to all our viewers. We're going to be streaming there as well, so check us out. But here on the Land of Saints and Sinners, please subscribe to the channel. And very kindly, if you're able to, not watching on your phone, there's a QR code up there or up there. If you'd scan that and like to leave a little donation to say thank you for the show, we would really appreciate it. No amount's too big, no amount's too small. £1, £2, cup of coffee, we'd appreciate it. That's the picture we're with. Anyway, right, introducing our next guest then, Rogue.
Wow, he's my little Christmas jingle bell man, isn't he? And we have the wonderful and the naughty and the Pakistani Welshman.
Should we do a drum roll? Should we do that drum roll again? Let's do that drum roll. Drum rolls. Here we go. Here we go. It is
Shoaib.
Hi, Richie. Hi, Rogue. Thank you very much for having me.
So good. So good to have you on. We're good.
Yeah, we're really good.
Are you good?
Yeah. I'm actually a lot better today. So with everything that's going on, so very, very happy. Very good. Yeah.
Great to see you in your Christmas outfit.
Tell me why you're happy.
Well, the reason why I'm happy because all the charges against me have been dropped
by
the Pakistanis and the Bengalis. Thank you, Dave. I know Dave has tried his best to help me with the Free Speech Union. He bought me the Free Speech Union membership as well. Dave did it. So thank you very much, Dave. You among so many of the people have always been there trying to support me as much as they can. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Fantastic. Sure, we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the show because we've got lots to get to, but that is so important because we want our viewers to hear your story. But as you know, at the start of the show, guys, Rogue was out on the streets interviewing people, what they thought about Keir Starmer and the current government. And, Keir Starmer is keen on staying in power and for however long he can stay into power. So let's begin with this and let's get your thoughts on some of this then. This was in the Mirror yesterday. I'll lead Labour at next election. Let's go to you, Dave. What do you make of this headline? I'll lead Labour at next election.
Well, I think it's a bit like Adolf Hitler in his bunker in April 1945. Planning his takeover of Britain and the world. While there's gunfire and explosions all around him. He just does not have a prayer of being the Labour leader at the next election. I think it's a case of when rather than if he goes. I think he's going to be doing his Julius Caesar. Brutus is that a dagger before I see before me. Very, very few people ever get to be prime minister, and if you've got the chance to be one, no matter how short or long it is, it's got to be worth having it on your CV and be in charge of the country, if only for a brief while. My instinct is that the next election in 28-29, there's going to be a Labour wipeout. There's going to be a Tory wipeout. The Greens will make gains. The Lib Dems might make some gains, but I'm looking at a majority reform government with a major working majority. And also, I think the Conservatives and the Reform will have an informal electoral pact. We won't stand in that constituency. We won't stand in this constituency. I'll say this: where the Conservatives are left alone, I think Ben Habib's advance have got a good chance of maybe nicking a seat actually, because if they stand against the Conservative Party, but basically, I look upon advance as being a more sort of ideologically pure party than Reform. Reform has to appeal to a much wider group of people. Whilst if an advanced person stands against Conservative in the constituency, you might be able to nick a seat or two, if the truth be known. So good luck.
Interesting. David, well, thank you for that. Sure, we're going to come to you. I mean, we've got our thoughts, but obviously it's not about us tonight, is it, Rogue?
Not at all.
No,
come on, Shoaib.
So what do you make
of... Is he going to make it?
Yeah.
I don't think so, no. Absolutely not. And that's it. And everything else, I disagree with Dave. When Dave is here, I don't think I have anything else to say. I just agree with Dave, and that's it. We move forward.
Oh, come on, Shoaib. Come on, Shoaib.
Come on, you pussy.
I think I would like to keep a low profile. I like to keep a low profile for a bit. I just came out of a very big situation. But I don't think he's going to have another election. I don't think there is anybody who likes him. The people who've actually voted for him previously, as Rogue has been out on the streets, and people are saying, look, we have made a mistake. He's not going to get any more vote. And like I said, I was never, ever about politics. I was never interested in politics, but even a guy like me can see that literally this guy has no chance. And for him to come out and say, next election, I'll be leading it. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't even know he's actually aware of exactly how the public is feeling. I just don't think. I think he's delusional. That's what it is.
Yeah. He's out of touch. He's so out of touch with everybody. And, he's literally just kind of railroading us. He thinks he can condition us and actually start saying, oh, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And if we believe a lie for so long, it's almost like believable. No. We are done, Keir Starmer. We have had enough of your bullshit and we see you and see through you. He still hasn't even said Wayne Broadhurst's name. What the hell? How has anybody let him off? Why is he still there, not being held to account? It makes me really angry.
The thing is, you guys can say all this, right? Me being an immigrant, the last thing I want is Keir Starmer turning up to my house and deporting me. I like to calm down. Just agree
don't worry, Sean, because apparently you're far right, apparently, according to The Guardian. So you can join the far right squad. So you're all right there.
Yeah, I've already joined it. So yeah, I'm all good. I am a far right.
We're going to come to your story, Sean, because I think it's an whole episode in itself. And we'll definitely do that, but we'll talk about it in a moment. But we asked you guys what you want to talk about tonight. So this is your opportunity to do that on the Land of Saints and Sinners. Thank you to all of our supporters and subscribers. We really do value you and appreciate you. So thanks for joining us tonight. Any questions you want to ask to Dave or to Shoaib, please post them in the comments and we'll post those questions to them in due course. So we're going to begin the show talking about this article that The Guardian were promoting some time ago about far-right extremism being reported to the counter-terrorism. Apparently, there's a rise in far-right extremism. So, Shoaib, I mean, you sent this story across to us. What's your thoughts around it?
So basically, I've seen this article, and I've seen quite a few articles that's coming out, and what they are talking about is the far-right extremists are the white British people who are actually worried about their country, who calls themselves patriot to the country, who would like to be proud of the country that we live in, which is the United Kingdom, and they're proud of their flags. So what they have done is they have said that these people have been reported a lot more than the actual Islamists. And as far as I remember, and as far as I've seen the news and the things that we are seeing going on in the UK, is that it's actually the Islamists who are murdering people. It's the Muslims and the Pakistanis and the Bengalis going around raping the little kids, the white children and men, women. And these are the people who are doing it. But for them to say, oh, you know what is actually the problem that we have got is by these white middle-aged men and women who are worried about their country. I think this is absolutely false. And well, Guardian is a fake news anyway. So yeah, I think this would have been something that I've been looking into. And I know the reason why that these white people have been referred, because the Muslims, the people at the mosque, the people at these Muslim-run charities are being taught by these Islamists, by these Muslims, by the Imam on how to go and report people if they don't agree with your opinion. So let's say I am the one who is against illegal immigration or even legal immigration these days. The people turning up on boats behind the lorry are criminals in my eyes, in my opinion, only because they are coming to the UK illegally. That makes them a criminal. So when I say, you know what, I don't want these guys here, so these people at the mosque will go then make a report against me, and they will say, you know what, this guy's a far right, this guy's a racist because he's saying that he would not want illegal criminals turning up to the UK. So I think that's the definition of far right extremist is these days in the UK. So yeah.
Yeah, brilliant, Shoaib. Thank you for that. I'm just trying to bring you back on screen here. 1 second. Bear with me. There we go. Technical issues again, folks. I'm having to do everything here. Rogue. Oh, in fact, our producer is not here again tonight, Misty. Shame on you. You should be here. I know you had other priorities.
Don't shame people.
Well, it's Miss D.
I don't like shaming people.
They don't know who it is.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways,
okay. All right.
So you guys, you sort of hung out at the recent Tommy Robinson rally, didn't you? We saw you photos, you two together.
Yeah.
And so we want to kind of touch on Tommy Robinson because obviously, you know, the far right, you know, he's joined Advance UK. You know, I think there's been a lot of talk around him and about him. And I'm just trying to like ascertain, because Dave, you started going to the court cases, didn't you, around the station incident. So can we have a talk about that, please?
Sure. Basically, as his book says, he is an enemy of the state, and the governments, whether they're Conservative or whether they're Labour, never let an opportunity go by to arrest him and charge him and bang him up in jail. Tommy Roy is not a perfect guy. I've said to his face. How I would sum you up would be, you're sometimes the architect of your own downfall. You can be a flawed character, but on balance, I think you're a force for good. He's been right on so many issues. There was an interview he did back in 2011 on BBC Newsnight with Jeremy Paxman, where a sneering and condescending Jeremy Paxman said, "You telling me there are Pakistani grooming gangs in this country?" That's a level of awareness that the establishment, the blob, has on things like that. It's fairly obvious that the establishment fear him. He's a talisman for the working class people. I'm not going to say white working class people, because whenever I go to a Tommy Robinson rally, it's predominantly white, but there's also lots of people from all other races. and religions and creeds there. I remember what was one I went to. There was a lady who was in Russell Square Park. She was wearing a hijab, and I thought, she was just walking through with a man, probably walking 5 paces behind her. She's expected to, and people didn't even bat an eyelid. They said nothing to her. They didn't challenge her in any way. They didn't converse with her in any way. They just sort of, literally, mentally shrugged their shoulders and said, "Well, this is the world as it is." I also consider to be the so-called far right to be the most integrated of any community in this country. Because they tend to be a little bit rarer, they tend to be people tend to be more interested in them. And we really are the people. We don't give a toss what your race, what your religion is, and what other immutable characteristics you have about you. We're interested in your ideas. What are you going to say? What's your view on this? As long as we broadly agree on free speech and things like that. I'm really not bothered at all about somebody's identity. So yeah, I know. And this is the thing that really gets them. The government and the civil service know full well, they have an idea what's going on and what kind of attitudes they are. And every time somebody from the BAME community or a Muslim or whatever speaks up for the so-called far right in this country, it really wounds them very deeply that there is a general view and a general agreement amongst people from the so-called far right. In fact, I'll just make one very brief conceptual point, if I can, where this all comes from. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. It was obvious that the communism as an economic model, socialism as an economic model, completely failed. The West Germans had 3.5 times better standard of living than the East Germans, and also when you get socialism, you get the authoritarianism that goes with it. So what I think's happened since 1989, that's 35 years ago, a generation ago. What I think has happened is the Marxists, and the Frankfurt School type people, because they could control the economy, they had to find another way to control us. And what I think it's called, it comes from Chairman Mao, the former Chinese premier. It's the Marxist long walk through the institutions. Virtually, every public body in this country is ideologically captured, with wokeism, and it's even seeped into capitalism. And the people who do their bidding is human remains, HR or human resources, as I should properly refer to them. You look at the sacking of I was sacked by HR. I've been on Talk TV for a year and a half. I was on there every week. I started off 3 weeks, and don't be like you. We get you on every week, sort of thing. Then they had a look at my account. Oh, you like Tommy Robinson? I was fired. So, and that came from HR. Actually. So yeah.
Well, the cancel culture, Dave, is very much alive. We've had Mike Graham, our friend from Talk TV. Yeah. He was on with Dan Wootton tonight live, and he was sharing how he had been cancelled, and when he fired for allegedly some posts on Facebook. I mean, it's a whole list of people. Yourself, Ben Habib being another one for Advance UK. We've had Lawrence Fox. We've had Rupert Lowe. We've had so many different people that have stood up for what they believe in, and they've been called far right because they stand up for their country. They love their history. They love their, basic principles that really you would think were good principles to have as a man or a woman. And they've been cancelled, and they're no longer regulars on our TV screens for saying things that are not palatable to those who are in the media. But we know mainstream media is dead, and we are the media now. So welcome to the new broadcast with me, Richie, and the wonderful Rogue. Anyway, so we're going to take over the whole lot of them. Anyway, we're going to have a breakfast show soon. We're going to have loads of things going on here. Anyway, I get carried away. I do it all the time tonight.
Welsh dreamer. I
do. We got to dream big. We got to dream big, girl. You got to dream big. So we're going to.
I just want to quickly show up, because obviously when you were at the the rally as well, were you kind of ostracized? Were you welcomed? Were you like treated differently?
No, I was welcomed by everybody. No, I was actually, they're very welcoming. And this wasn't my first rally. I think I had quite a few rallies. This one was a bit special for me because I wore my Welsh kilt. And I think me wearing the Welsh kilt, actually, it made me stand out as well. So yeah, it was a good reception, very good reception, actually. So yeah, I can never complain. So whenever I see the news, when they talk about the far right racists, the white people being racist, I am the immigrant who goes out and say, well, I haven't seen anything, so you must be lying, because they are. If I'm in between that many people and everybody just keeps saying that you're welcome here, you know, we love what you're doing. And you can see, look, you know, these people as well, everybody's following my story very closely. So it shows. I don't need to make things up. You can just see it from the people comment. If you look at some of my posts that, you know, Dave, obviously, I send it to Dave, always share it. That's one of the best things that I have to say about Dave. No matter how busy he is, he's never too busy to share and help people out. Like, you know, small accounts like mine, I wouldn't have gotten the time, the type of people looking at my post or my story going out if it wasn't for Dave. So, you know, thank you very much, Dave, for that. And no. So yeah, see that the kilt. I think the kilt made me stand out, and I had a very good reception. So that's what it was. So yeah,
brilliant.
And that is really important, isn't it? And, you know, we talk about, you know, like the far right and how the left say that we are so extreme. Like, you wouldn't be in our fold if that wasn't the case. And I think people need to really wake up to like this woke talk. You know, people are seeing it, but actually there have been questions, you know, sort of when we're going to protests and we're asking them, well, what about this? And explain this. I mean, I've seen Liam like challenging somebody like, well, what does that actually mean? Explain this to me. Why are you saying that? And actually half of them don't even know what they're saying. It's just a narrative that they're believing and they're actually rolling with, which makes them look really stupid.
Absolutely, it does indeed. I'm just listening to Rogue there, what she was saying. You know, we're friends with Tommy, like you guys, and we believe in what he's doing. We think it's amazing what he's done in exposing the grape gangs. The guy deserves a knighthood, not a prison service or prison sentence, I should say, because of what he has done. He has done far more than most politicians will do in a lifetime. But it's cost him. It's come at a sacrifice. He's had to spend time in prison. He's been away from his children and his family, and that cannot be easy for anybody. So he's a man of huge principle who I'm in adoration of him, because any man that's prepared to stand up for his beliefs and go to jail for them needs to be applauded for what he's done, and I think held in high esteem. I'm sure you feel the same. Now, both of you have been to some of his court cases, and you know, mainstream media, they always paint the wrong picture, always label him as this far-right activist, and but it doesn't work anymore, Dave, this far-right label, does it? As Rogue was saying, you know, people like Shoaib, you know, he's welcome. He's a Muslim. He hasn't got the same color skin as us. So what? We don't care about the color of your skin. We don't give you black, white, green, yellow. We
purple.
Purple, yeah.
If I've got purple hair, I might have something to say, actually.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you've got purple hair, then we kind of guess who you vote for. But yeah, I mean, and they even accept the Welsh look. Yeah, I mean, that's a miracle, I know, but they do. Dave, the left-wing badge doesn't work anymore, does it?
It doesn't at all. I mean, in fact, what I do is I'm actually getting my own back at the moment. You know, whenever I talk about hope, not hate, I always refer to them as the extreme left. You know, they're extreme to the left, as the BNP is the extreme right, which I'm sure annoys them. Any reporter or TV presenter that refers to the far right, I describe them as far left presenter or far left journalist John Smith or whatever, you know. And so, you know, two can play at that game if you want to play it like that. Yeah, you know, it's like, you know, race being called a racist these days doesn't hold the wounds that it did maybe 5-10 years ago or even 30 years ago. You know, I reported an event that had happened, and someone quote tweeted me, "Oh, you're a racist C word." I said, you know, so what I did, my reply to him was racist -noun, culturally aware, a fact checker.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's you know I saw Rupert Lowe the other day. You know, he was called a racist by some. He said, but his reply was whatever. You know. I don't like racism. You know, if I saw a bloke verbally and physically abusing a Muslim woman in a hijab or a burqa or whatever, I step in and intervene. In fact, I'm not being funny. Hopefully you'll believe me. I've intervened twice where in instances that were looking physical and fairly ugly. The first one was at Watford Junction. I was on my way home, and what it appeared was this white guy picked a fight with this Nigerian. He did not give him a 40, but I'll tell you. And he was just going for a bit of afters, and I got out after out of my seat, and I stopped him from doing anything worse. And the other one was I was at my local boozer where I'm in southwest London, and this white guy started abusing this East Asian lady. Very pretty. It was like she was just meeting somebody. In situations like that, I think it's because it's the right thing to do. Another one is, I'm fiercely pro-Israel, but during the 1990s, I supported the Kosovan Muslims against the Serbian Christians. And I support the Uyghur Muslims in China against the Chinese Communist Party. It is what is right and what is wrong. It's not a case of you're far right or whatever. It's whether you're right or wrong.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something the left don't get, is it? I don't believe in left wing and right wing, right? My position has always been the same. It's something that's been created by the political elite to cause division amongst the people. I just believe you're either right or you're wrong. There's good and there's evil. There's bad, there's good. And whatever you call politicians, right wing, left wing, liberal, look, at the end of the day, I believe in family, I believe in country, I believe in God, I believe in faith, I believe in respect, integrity, transparency, authenticity, all the qualities that make a nation great. And there is a verse in the Bible, actually, and we're not here to preach the Bible, as you know, but we are the land saints sinners, and we do believe in the spiritual. And it says, righteousness will exalt the nation. And when we return to being righteous, and that's not self-righteousness, but when we return to doing things righteously, where there is justice, where the Lady Justice is blindfolded, that's equality under the law, one of Advance UK's mission statements, as you know. It's imperative for us to find ourselves, because we're going to come to this next topic that Shoaib, we're going to come to you in a moment, and it's about policing and the two-tier justice, two-tier policing that we've seen, because we believe in equality. All are equal under the law, Rogue, aren't they?
Absolutely. And, I've gone through cases because I used to be an advocate. And you'd go in and you would just see, like, oh, my God, how is this even happening? So you've got the Masonic, sort of helping each other out. And then you're getting somebody getting, sort of penalized and a harsher sentencing or a harsher fine, whatever it was. If your face doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. If you're not with the elites, then you're fucked, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen this two-tier policing. You've experienced it firsthand, haven't you, Shoaib? So I think at this juncture, it might be a good opportunity for you to update us on your story, give a brief synopsis of what's happened and where you're at. Because you're allowed to say it now, Shoaib, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you? You allowed to share it? Yes.
I don't mind.
Let's go.
So basically what it is with my case, and I think I will relate this when Dave was talking about racism. And I think when people say if there is racism or not, and people call you racist, do you get offended if somebody calls you racist? In my opinion, and I think majority of people will disagree with me, but I have always believed that there is no racism. What I believe in is there is discrimination. So like there will be people that don't like me because of maybe the way I speak, the things I do. And it's very easy for me to turn around and say, oh, just because that person is white or a different color than me or different religion than me, because they don't like me, I can say, oh, you know what, they're being racist. So that's what I believe. I think there is discrimination. I don't believe there is racism. But again, everybody has got the right to their opinion, and this is mine. And with the police, the two-tier policing, when you talk about the two-tier policing, it's, again, this is the problem that we've got now. If somebody calls you racist, I'm sure a lot of us will be like, yeah, you know what, we don't care. But we do start to care when police start turning up to your house and start saying that, you know what, no, you are a racist. And for that, you are going to be locked up. You are going to go to jail, which has happened to me. And it happened to me in January when I was sent to prison because of a lawfare, which was, it was the Islamists, the Muslims, the Pakistanis, and the Bengalis who have put this war against me. So yes, when you have the police supporting that racism narrative, it becomes really hard for you to say, oh, we don't care. Of course you don't care, but when you get locked up, then you have to care. So yeah, the two-tier policing, it's very much is in play in the UK.
Sure, absolutely.
You are absolutely spot on. Absolutely. Dave, I mean, you've witnessed it yourself, and I've seen you post on X a number of times when we've seen two-tier policing. We've seen it with people being policed with their tweets, with social posts and everything else. And we do see an absolute injustice happening in our country, don't we?
We do, actually. Well, I don't know whether I mentioned it before to you, but Alison Pearson, the Telegraph journalist, was visited by the police on Remembrance Sunday. You know, literally on a Sunday about one of her ex-posts. It was actually it's going to be 2 years next April when the police actually approached me about one of my tweets. They sent me an email and requesting that I come into the station, and I sort of ignored it and what have we, and tried to bat it away. Then one day the police turned up on my front door, and they said, "Well, they handed me a snail mail letter, and they said, if you don't come into the station, we'll arrest you." And what I'd written was, it was a meme, had a picture of a Palestinian flag, and it said, F Hamas, F Palestine, F Islam. If you want to protest about Israel, F off to a Muslim country. And it had 1 million views. It
Wow.
Had 1 million views. By the way, my record is 74 million for one tweet, one ex-post.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
I'm happy if I get more than 20 views. So,
Oh, we'll change that.
Indeed, yeah.
I mean, your biggest social media post was your church bells, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my church bells. It was talking. it was on Harris. Was it so?
Harris Sultan, yeah.
Harris Sultan's, yeah. So it went viral with everybody. It was basically me talking about the mosque and 7 times or 5 times a day prayer. And basically it was the summer and I was wearing a little top. And, my church bells were...
She prayed for those, she's been blessed. And she just wanted to share the gift with the world. And the world, obviously not to see them, obviously, but of course, the position of the camera at the time happened to be down here and looking up at her. And she's gone viral. She's in Australia, America. I've had to insure those bad boys and put public liability on them, right? To make sure that they're kept safe. But yeah, it was great, wasn't it? We've had some fun with it, haven't we? I mean, and that's the thing, isn't it? Do you know the thing with politics, and we're not just here to talk about politics, people take themselves too seriously. You've got to have a bit of fun along the way, for goodness sake, because otherwise, what's the point, isn't it? And it's good to laugh at yourself sometimes and laugh at others as well. I get called all sorts. I think it's hilarious. It is.
Well, you get called everything under the sun, to be honest. Dave, he gets called things too.
I'll go. Also, well, the other thing I'd add as well is that I've had 2 of my followers DM me, and there's a story today going around from the Telegraph. The civil servants are being trained in spotting delinquent far right posts, so-called far right posters on social media. And these 2 followers actually DM me to say, I've just been interviewed about my ex posts, my tweets, and they said they were asked, "Do you follow David Atherton on X?" So obviously I'm hitting some nerves at the moment. And to be fair to myself, I send out about, I think it's about 30 a day, 30 tweets a day. So that's what 210. So it's about 800 a month. One at a pinch might get a community note.
So Dave, can I interject there a minute? Yeah. Do you wake up in the morning and the first thing you think about is your X account?
Yeah.
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
It's largely my sole income.
Well, if your income, mate, you're working.
You see, the thing is, your sleep pattern must be all over the shop, because as you're having news feeds coming in, you're just like, oh my gosh, I need to be hit off the press, first off the press. So where am I going with this?
Yeah. I normally wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do some research for 2 hours. Bookmarks and tweets for later on. I normally go back to sleep for an hour or so. I work through from about 6 or 7 through to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I normally have a snooze in the afternoon. Then I work from 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, that's my day if I'm not going out anywhere. So yeah.
So my first question to you was, what makes you tick? What is it that gets you up in the morning? And obviously, it really is your X account, and it is the drive for the injustice. Now, my one question under this like 2-tier policing, what is the biggest injustice that you have seen so far in your journalistic journey?
Biggest injustice is the 500,000 girls who were raped by Pakistani heritage men. That is, and the fact it was covered up by the establishment for such a long time, and you know, and they're still begrudgingly, you know, feign to admit what's going on and hold a national inquiry in good faith. You know, could you imagine? Could you imagine? You know, if there was a white paedophile network that was preying on, you know, ethnic minority children for 30 years and being covered up by the government, you know, you can imagine, you know, the stink that will be going on, and you know, there'll be column inches in the Guardian, there'll be wall-to-wall coverage on the BBC, but because it's all the wrong people at all the wrong times, they're doing nothing about it. It's absolutely, you know, it's a national disgrace, and you know, you have to thank Tommy Robinson for keeping it in the public eye. And actually got to give a lot of credit to Charlie Peters of GB News. But yeah, you know, but the thing about Charlie Peters, this is one of the things that people have missed out on. When Charlie Peters does a program, documentary, or writes a piece on grooming gangs, we're all lapping it up. So you know, it's because it is such a pet peeve and a pet opinion of the viewership. You know, obviously, it pulls in the viewers, it pulls in the punters to their channel. So it's us as a group of people who have actually brought this indirectly, you know, to the public domain, and that comes from social media recalls. So never undermine what we're doing.
Absolutely. Now, Shoaib, if these guys were over in Pakistan doing what they were doing, what would happen to them? Is it actually okay for them to do it over there, or actually is it as abhorrent as it is over here? And what would be the outcome?
So basically, if they do it in Pakistan the way they've been doing it in the UK, first of all, they get hanged. And before they get hanged, it's usually they somebody will go out, find them, and they will actually kill them. Like, you know, one of the family members of the person who've been assaulted by these monsters. And it does happen a lot. It does happen quite a bit because in a lot of the places within Pakistan, it has become a trend, which has become a part of the culture. You know, in Afghanistan, you've got this bachabazi, where the bus drivers and the truck drivers will go out and they will have these children who will go and sleep with them for a little bit of money. In Pakistan, on the other hand, it's basically the children who get sexually harassed or raped are most likely to be done by their relatives. Their maids, the people who are supposed to be looking after them. Then you've got the police, and for them, yes, a lot of the time they will either be hanged or they will be killed in public. But unfortunately, like I said, now it has become part of the culture. So a lot of the places it does goes unpunished. But even then, if it does goes unpunished, they are a lot more scared doing these kind of things in Pakistan that they will be scared doing it in the UK. So there is a more chance of a Pakistani rapist to commit his crime basically in the UK than in Pakistan. So like I said, look, in Pakistan, yes, it has become part of the culture, but in Pakistan, if you mess with the wrong person, there is a possibility that you will either get hung or you will be killed on the street. But in the UK, you're protected. The best thing is you just come up with a nonsense, you come up with an excuse and say, hey, guess what? I'm just an immigrant. I don't know what was going on. This is not my country. I don't know the laws. So I don't know if it was okay or not. I've done it. I'm sorry. And the British justice system is like, yeah, you're sorry. You know, that's good enough. Well done. Let us give you a new house. Let us give you a new identity so you don't need to go. And we have seen this. Obviously, this is not a rape case, but this is, again, is one of the cases which is related to the Pakistanis, which is the son of the little child who was killed by the father, the father's brother, the uncle, and also the stepmother. And the first thing they did, they actually ran to Pakistan. They thought they're going to be safe. But the moment the parents of, the father of the child's parent, so the grandfather, when they found out, they were like, we don't care, you're our son. We will hand you over to the police. So the first thing they did then again, they ran to UK. They came back to the UK to give themselves up because they knew if they were to be caught in Pakistan, even though the crime took place in the UK, the people within the Pakistan, the family members in Pakistan would have 100% got rid of them. They would have, they would have killed them, whatever they would have done to them. So these criminals thought the best thing for us would be, let's go back to the UK because at least we can have a better life. And that's a shame, unfortunately.
Do you know what? It brings me then to here. Should the death penalty be legalized? Should it come back?
My opinion is I would. I've said to you before, I think if I was the Prime Minister and I had executive orders like Donald Trump, I would bring the death penalty back for all paedophiles. And call me what you want. You can say, what about the sanctity of human life? An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Surely we should grace. Look, if there's people say, well, what about lack of evidence? What about this, that, and the other? Look, when you have people who stab someone, as we see with Wayne Broadhurst, in broad daylight, and there's beyond all reasonable doubt, then of course the punishment should fit the crime. I'm a great believer in the death penalty. Always have been. I think if you mess about with children, you should be executed.
Yeah. I must be. Given the power of the state to kill you, philosophically, I'm aware of that, and I think that the conviction should go from beyond reasonable doubt to beyond any doubt or all doubt or whatever. But if the crime is that heinous, the crime that bad, I'm all ears about reintroducing the death penalty. For example, the murder of Lee Rigby. There are photographs of them. One of the Michaels holding up a meat cleaver. His hands are covered in blood. And there are eyewitnesses. Say the taxpayers some money. That person has lost the right to live. But based on his motivation, of his crime. Michael Huntley, apparently he's been blinded in prison. And he's a permanent target, in prison at the moment. And I've got to say, I don't really care. What kind of evil, does that? So if we raise the bar to beyond any and all doubt, I'll be for the death penalty. But it is tempered by the fact you're giving power to the state. For example. You look at the terrorism laws at the moment. They're used against Tommy Robinson. They're used against Ryan Williams, the Korean guy, who came back. As a very senior Conservative MP said to me, and former minister actually said to me, once you give the state power, they abuse it. So, if we bring back the death penalty, they may well abuse it.
Yeah.
Great point, Dave. Great point. I think it has to be not just reasonable doubt, but beyond doubt. I think you've raised a very good point, and I would say yes to that. Well, we're going to move on a bit, guys, because our time, it went ages ago. It doesn't matter. We're still going to keep going anyway. No, it's not. It's only 3 minutes to go. We've got plenty of time for the stories, haven't we?
Plenty of time. What do you want about?
I know. I'm just listening to Dave. I could listen to him all night. I've just sat there just listening to him. It's fantastic. And Shoaib, of course. So moving the stories on, guys, we've talked about far extremism, we've talked about policing, two-tier justice, all that stuff. We want to talk about this as well, because, of course, this has been, it's not just in the press, it's happening everywhere, and the cost of living crisis. It seems as if people are absolutely strapped and the country is screwed. And now we got Rachel Reeves with the budget coming out on the 26th of this month. And people are dreading it, aren't they? I mean, Shoaib, tell us. I mean, you live in a community. You work there in Swansea. You've worked in Swansea. How do people get by? How has the cost of living impacted them?
Well, it has impacted them severely. I used to work for the Swansea Council. I knew people that. I know somebody who was working with me, and she had a partner who was working full time as well. And both of them, they just couldn't afford a lot of things, and they couldn't afford to take their kids out for meals. I know a lot of people, they live around me. Even they can afford their rent, but then they can't afford their bills. So I don't know how is it that a lot of people are surviving. And it is a very bad situation around in Swansea. And even Swansea is comparatively, it's a cheaper place to live. If you live in London, that's, of course, it's a lot more higher than Swansea. But yeah, it is really bad. I have seen quite a few people who are suffering. And like I said, it's not a good thing. And this is the first time in 10 years, me being in the UK, this is the very first time I've seen some of the people that you wouldn't expect them to suffer because they've got full-time jobs. Both parents are working. They don't have that many kids. They don't have that many expenses. They're relatively very good with their money. But even these people are suffering. So I can only imagine what is happening to the people who are not really great with their money. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's common come up there, going back on what we just said earlier, the mainstream media are quiet as lambs on the genocide rape of Christians in Nigeria by the religion of peace. Now, I mean,
it took Trump, didn't it?
Yeah.
It took Trump to stand up and say something. You know, there were people kind of like saying it on X and sort of trying to push it out, but it wasn't really generating like the traction that it needed. And then I think the boxer, I can't remember the boxer's name, I'm terrible with names, but he actually came forth and just said, why are we not talking about this? And then, you know, sort of Trump took that baton, and it's absolutely frightening to think of the massacre of these amazing people just celebrating. You're right, Dave.
But we went down the wrong hole. So
no.
So maybe it's a sign. Is it communion wine, Dave? I hope so. Anyway, Christians in Nigeria being slaughtered. I've seen pastors and church leaders, you know, where the churches have been absolutely decimated, burned to the ground. And they've beheaded Christians over there. And yet, you know, our government has been quite silent. It said David Lammy, the foreign secretary, you know, and others when they were in that role as well, they don't seem to care. They turn a blind eye. But when it comes to supplying money to Ukraine or the Gaza situation, you know, foreign aid, which personally, I think we should cut foreign aid massively. I think, you know, charity begins at home. We should, our own armed services and defence forces have been absolutely depleted, hollowed out. We can't even fill Wembley Stadium with what we have. And, you know, so I think priorities of this government are completely skewed and wrong. I don't know what prism he's looking through, but you've heard the comments when Rogue was interviewing people out today out on the streets here in Wales, what they thought about him, and even people who voted for him, what they now think about him. Surely he must realise when he wakes up in the morning at number 10 in his flat, he must realise, what the hell am I doing to the country? And my job's on its way out, Dave, isn't he?
Sure, absolutely. Right, well, let's go. Let's pick through that one.
Cost of living.
Cost of living. On the cost of living. Okay, wait. I'm an unashamed classical liberal. You know, I want the minimum. I want the government to do virtually nothing, and I want the lowest taxes that we can possibly go for. You would have thought with massive. If you listen to the Blob. You listen to the Frankfurt School and the Keynesian School of Economics. You know, you would have thought that mass immigration, you know, and £3 trillion in debt, we'd be rich beyond our dreams. When in fact, what's happened is, you know, particularly with the mass immigration, I don't you know, to be a net contributor to this country, got to earn £38,700 a year. So if you learn less than that, you consume more in services and goods and state, national health service, GP, schools, roads, things like that. They're actually paying taxes, and only 1 in 20 of immigrants actually earn more than £38,700 a year. So what we are doing with our profligate, incompetent spending, is we are actually making ourselves poorer. There are 2 countries in the world I know of that have budget surpluses. One is Norway, because it's enormous gas and oil reserves, and they've got a surplus. I think it's as much as £1 trillion. They're so rich they actually have a £1 trillion portfolio which they invest. And the other one I know is Singapore, which is, I think it's $1.8 billion. I think. That they've got in the bank, should we say? Well, we're £3 trillion in debt, and until we get away from this tax and spend mentality, because the tax and spend is about control. Because if there, where the state's, I think the state is currently spending 47% of our GDP, and which is the government could arrange to piss up in a brewery, and the incompetent spending of the government is plain for all to see. Until we get away from that, we will just be in managed decline. It was Margaret Thatcher that broke the mold in 1979 with Lord Howe's budget in June 1979, where taxes, particularly on the top rate, were cut. It was substituted to a certain extent by an increase in the VAT. But that was when, and by the time Baroness Thatcher had left power in 1990, she'd actually increased the GDP and the GDP per capita, GDP per head by 90%. the standard of living went up in that 11 years by literally by 100%. People were twice as rich as they were. And I despair. What you're doing is, with £3 trillion of debt, what you're doing is you're taking money from the productive sector of society, i.e., capitalism, and the money's being spent by government, which is by definition wasteful. For example, I will give the example of Singapore. They spend about 15%. We spend about 47% of our GDP. Singapore spends 15%, and they are 50% richer per head than us. They live 3 years longer, and it's one of the most. It normally comes about number 1 or 2 when it comes to the world corruption stakes. It comes in 1 or 2 as the most honest countries in the world. Britain language is down at about 10th place. I think it advised with New Zealand as the world's most honest country. Bribes, backhanders, brown envelopes are an alien concept to them. They want the best good. They want the best service. Open tenders. When it comes to government contracts, and the government does very little. And when it comes to your healthcare in Singapore, it's based on your ability to pay. It's not based on so if you're poor, you'll probably get treatment very, very cheaply. If you're rich, you pay through your backside, which I think is fair. And I say, I'll confirm, they live 3 years longer. And the point is, going on, if I can just marry the cost of living to our debt, we do not want to default on our £3 trillion pounds worth of debt. If we ever default on it, it will lead to the complete unraveling of our financial system. Your salary won't be paid. Supermarket suppliers won't be paid, so there'll be no goods in the shop. It will lead to complete and utter total anarchy until we get state spending under control in this country. I've noticed myself. One of my boasts was that I could feed myself for a week on £5. It'll be cans of unbranded baked beans and a dozen egg of cucumber, things like that. Going back 5 years, I could as an experiment, I could feed myself, for a £5 for a week. That figure has now gone up to £10, in my opinion. But I would say that food inflation hasn't doubled, but what I've noticed is the prices are that high. I can remember I was able to buy a loaf of 75p from Sainsbury's. Fairly awful. But but it was still 75p. I'll now pay anything up to £2 for a loaf these days. For those who want a conspiracy theory, I'm just beginning to wonder: are the globalists restricting farming? Are they restricting the supply of food to countries? But anyway, we'll research that later.
Shoaib, in Wales is known to be quite poor. We are deprived in a lot of areas, and I'm just really interested in how people are coping in your area and around where you are.
Not very well. Like I said before, many of the people that I know personally, they're not doing really good. A lot of them don't leave the house because they've got no money, and they do work as well. So that's the worst thing, is that they are working, but they have realized that if you work full time or even part time, which is a little bit more than if you work less, you get benefits, and if you don't work at all, you get a lot more benefits and discounts. So what I have, when I was speaking to some of the people, some of my neighbors and some of the other people that I know who've got 2 jobs, and they've been telling me that we were better off not having any job at all, because the benefits helps us a lot more if we don't have a job, which means if they don't have a job, they get these discounts from Welsh Water, they get the discount from, from the Swansea Council for paying their council tax. And it's, so I feel like in a way that what we are seeing in Wales, which I have seen from a lot of people, either they work in cash in hand, which I'm talking about the Bengalis and the Pakistanis and the Muslims, they do cash in hand. They will be helping their friends, their family members who got businesses, and they'll be working on cash. and then at the same time they'll be getting the benefits. So if you've got two people now, if you compare two families, both of them are on benefits, somehow the Pakistanis and the Bengalis will have a lavish lifestyle than in comparison to the white British people, because the reason behind it is the white British people, they like to stick to the rules and the regulation, whereas the Pakistanis and the Bengalis and the Muslims, they try to play the system. And that's what they've been doing for the last, many years, as far as I remember. So yeah, then there is this problem that we've got. While you've got people who can play the system and they live amazing life, of course they got no problem. They're on holidays every 3-4 months, and it's again is the incompetency of the justice system, which which do not look into the fact that if person A is earning exactly the same as person B, so how is it that person A can go on holidays and the person B can't even afford a McDonald's once a week? So this is the problem. So you can't really blame the people. Like I said, the people that I speak with now, they are really good people. They're hardworking people. They are used to working 2 to 3 jobs in a day, and they've been working their whole life. They've been working since they were 14, 15, and now they're in their 40s. And unfortunately, what they're saying to me now is they would rather not work. So these are the people who say, oh, they would rather not work, but then they sit home for a day and they start going crazy, and they're like, no, we need to work, and then they're suffering. So it is pretty bad. It is very, very bad. I hope this can be changed.
Shoaib, there is within like the Muslim community, there is like this little pot. It's like a fellowship of money. So you have a special pot that everybody puts in, and then they give it to each kind of member of a family. Can you explain that for me, please?
I mean, as in within your own family. I wish I had that pot. I talking about. But so when you talk about that, are you talking about within the mosque or within let's say a Muslim household? Is that what you're talking about?
It's like there's a community, because like my friend.
Is it called something like Zeke?
Go on.
Is it called something like Zekat or something?
Oh, zakat. Yeah. So see, with zakat, what it is a charity. But I don't think it goes to in between the community. Like, even though when I used to go to the mosque 2 years ago, and when I was in those guys, there never used to be a thing where they'd be like, oh, you know what, we will hand you our money. It wasn't like that. But yes, there is this thing. So they've got this thing where they would like to do charity. But again, they won't do charity for the local people here. They would rather be doing charity for foreigners. Well, when I say foreigners, they're talking about going back to their homeland. So if there's the Bengali, they will do a charity. They will send it back to Bangladesh. If you've got Pakistani, they will again do a charity, then they will send to Pakistan. And in this as well, I know for a fact, when they do these charities or we're collecting money for the poor people, it never gets to the poor people. And I'm talking about, again, the same money that supposedly UK has been sending to Pakistan. If you go to Pakistan right now, Rogue, and you go and interview the people and say, you know what, UK has been given this many millions and billions of pounds to Pakistan to feed you guys, to help you guys. You know what they will tell you? They will tell you, no, take it back, because we never get it. We've never received it. So it is corruption on every level, especially when you're dealing with the Pakistanis and the Bengalis, and mostly to do with Muslims in these areas. Like I said, Bengalis and Pakistanis are obviously at the top. They are the top in being corrupt. They are the top going anywhere and corrupting the whole system, which I believe they've done in the UK. So I don't think there ever was a time, obviously you guys can correct me, but in my opinion, I always used to think, the British justice system is one of the best. The British justice system, the British police and everything, because when we had Imran Khan, the cricket player, when we used to watch cricket, all he used to talk about was the Scotland Yard. Every day we used to listen to his speech. He's like, oh, we need to be like Scotland Yard. We need to be like the British people. If you want to succeed, if you want your country to do good, look at those white British guys. And he was very specific. When he spoke about the British people, he always spoke about the white British people, the native British people. He never spoke about, the Pakistani British and this and that. And like I have this saying that I always say to the trolls whenever they say, oh, you know what? I was born in the UK, so I am British. Look, I am different to this. My mentality is totally different. I grew up in Saudi Arabia. My father has been in Saudi Arabia for 50 years. And even till today, they tell him, you are a Pakistani and you're an immigrant. He's fine with it. And this is where I grew up. 28 years of my life. So when I am in the UK today, yes, I love the UK. I love everything about the UK. And like I said, when I landed in the UK, when I landed in the Heathrow, I was so close to kissing the land. I literally kissed the land, because I said, this is the land of opportunity. This is the land where I want to be. And even everything that I've done, the things that has cost me fighting for the country which I call home now, obviously the UK. I've never said to the people, oh, you know what, I'm British now, I'm Welsh now, I'm this and that. I never say that. And I always have stood on the thing that if tomorrow the white British people will turn around and say, look, you know what, yes, you've done a lot for the country. Thank you very much for your sacrifice. But the thing is, right now, we would like to take our country back. And that does not start unless we start sending everybody back. I know it's something that might happen, might not happen. But if that were to happen, I am 100% on my word that I will leave. No, I will leave because I want to leave. I can't get out. I cannot wait to go out. I will leave because this is how much I love the country. This is how much loyalty I have to the country that I will leave. Even though it's going to destroy me, it will destroy my life. But I can't go back to Pakistan because of the things that
respect.
Thank you. So when I see these people telling me that, oh, you know what, because we are born in the country, we are British. I always say to them, like, what it is that you have done for the country. When you're talking about that you are British, what are your British values? What is the culture that you follow? If you want to tell me, oh, I'm British just because I've got a passport, but I follow my Pakistani culture, I'm still a backward barbarian. I believe that, you know, women should be treated like this and the kids should be like this. And if somebody's not covering themselves, a woman is not covering themselves, then they are at fault for a man doing something bad to them. If those are your opinions, no, you should be deported. I don't care if you're born in this country. You should be deported not because you're a Pakistani, not because, you know, you're an absolute piece of, you know, garbage, but you should be deported because the way you speak about the country that's given you everything. Like for me, when I see the Pakistanis, the Bengalis, or anybody who's not white, who was born in the UK, I look at them and I say, man, what a privilege for you guys to be born in this great nation. You know, that's, and you know, this is, like I said, this is my opinion. Not many people agree with it, but this is how I was raised. This is my mentality. This is how my head works. So yeah. The Pakistan community is absolutely ridiculous, and the Bengalis as well. I don't know. I don't think they ever change.
Thanks, Shoaib. Thanks for that. Incredible. We need to move the story on because our time is really moved on, hour and 15 minutes. And plus, the battery is dying. It was fully charged before we went live, but an hour and 50 minutes of listening to us has drained the battery. My voice enough to drain anyone. So we're going to move the story. We're going to tell you stories together if we can. Dave, we're going to come to you because, of course, we want to talk about illegal immigration. Obviously, massive problem. Shabana Mahmood coming up with all kinds of ideas Monday on the Dutch model. And, of course, we want to tie it into your little piece, Dave, as well, which is Donald Trump could offer asylum to British citizens prosecuted for voicing opinions on immigration and gender. You're a great fan of that policy, Dave. Tell us what you think about illegal immigration, border policy, and, of course, this wonderful news from Donald Trump. I think you might be on your way to America, Dave.
Yeah, Dave. Well, let me go. Basically, this is pissing in the ocean. The only thing that will cure the immigrant problem, certainly the illegal immigrant problem in this country, is tough and decisive action. Those who are staying in camps like Wethersfield in the Braintree, Colchester area, fine. You got your migrant camp, but as Rob Bates of Migration Control said, that you should be surrounded by barbed wire. This is how I would deal with immigration if I was an immigration border force officer. I was looking at their asylum claim. Good morning, Mohammed or Ahmed or Abdul or whoever you may be. Can I see your passport, please? Under the 1971 Immigration Asylum Act. You don't have one. Do you have any documentation which you can show us? No, I don't. I threw it in the sea. Right, stamped, asylum refused. You're back on the boat the next day. That would stop it overnight. And what I would do as well, to a certain extent, illegal immigration is to a certain extent a sideshow. When you got 1 million people, 1 million legal immigrants coming into this country. By the way, only 18% are going to be working. The other 82% are relatives who will be on the dole, on welfare, on universal credit. So, what we should do is nobody in this country should be allowed to move here legally unless they earn £38,700 a year, which would exclude 95% of people applying for legal work to settle here legally. And I reckon that we probably will be down to the tens of thousands, wouldn't we? So yeah, that's about 50,000. Personally speaking, I'm a little bit of a fundamentalist on this one. I'm a little bit of an ideological purist. I would like to see the job of the government over the next 10 years or so to actually get rid of 5 to 10 million immigrants that have arrived here in the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Obviously it has to be done humanely. If you have contributed to this country, I don't have a problem with it. But this is what they do in Denmark. This is what they do in Denmark. At the end of their five-year temporary residency, they count the numbers up. Have you claimed welfare? How much have you contributed in taxes? Have you committed any crime? And if you don't tick the boxes, you're deported. And the other thing, I'll say this is one thing this is the one thing that everyone in this country has missed. Now, people who are genuinely fleeing a war zone, I have a certain sympathy that they should be accepted. For example, if you're a Pakistani Christian, if you're Alawite or a Christian in Syria, I have a certain amount of sympathy. These people do have a case for asylum, and Nigerian Christians, some of them do have a case to be allowed asylum in this country. But the point is, what we're missing out on is Syria. Theoretically, the vast majority of the Syrians. By the way, President Assad of Syria was an Alawite. He wasn't a Muslim. He was an ethnic Alawite. It's not Islamic. It's just a religion and a race that's grown up on its own in isolation in Syria. He was an Alawite, and he was allied with the Christians. And so all the people that came over here from Syria were Muslims. And now they got the ISIS, Al Qaeda fundamentalist Mohammed Al Jalali in charge of the country. It's theoretically safe for them to go back home. So why aren't we deporting, getting rid of all those Syrian migrants that came over in the last 20 years or so? 10, 20 years. Once a country's become safe, surely these people have to should feel obliged to go home. Bung them a few quid, maybe if we have to, to motivate them to leave the country. But if a country is safe, why are they still here? They should be asked to go home. Should be asked to leave and go home.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Just want to say quickly on that, Dave, we're going to come back because Shabana Mahmood actually did say that one of the policies that she said she'd introduce is that if your country is no longer in war or in conflict, then you should return immediately. Yeah, sure. So interesting to see how they're going to actually make that happen, because we know previous governments have promised things and they've never delivered. And the issue is not all. I
just don't see that happening. Shabana Mahmood was just full of hot air and frankly shit. I can't see any.
Say it as it is, Dave.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. Obviously, we've got plenty more to talk about. We're going to continue. But I just want to say thank you to all of our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you're watching us. If you're watching us on X, if you go to the link, please go to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, get the notifications, because we're doing loads of live, loads of guests on in the next couple of weeks. So please take the time to do that. And if you want to help out, then please do that as well. Not right.
How do they do that? By the way, just one very quick line from me, if I can. When it comes to Trump's asylum offer, I may be one of the first people offered it.
I'm excited by this.
This year, isn't it, Dave? So you might be on your way to America, Dave, if Trump gets his way. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Someone in America who is connected to the State Department has actually said that to me in plain English.
Wow. Pack your bags, Dave.
Can you pack me in your bag, please?
You're coming with me, Rogue, aren't you?
Yes,
we don't need green.
So you might as well take it with you, didn't you? A moment one should kill me. That's all right. I'm used to it now.
Yeah, it's called menopause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. It's something else blokes don't suffer from, isn't it?
I just want to say though, thank you. Our viewers now, we've got 423 year live with us. So thank you so much to every single one of you. And I did mention at the start, I'll mention it again just briefly, because We don't get paid for this. We do it for free. But there's a QR code at the top hand side, or left side, right side, and if you want
flipped, I think.
Yeah,
so.
if you
thank you, sir. It's that side.
So if you'd like to leave a donation, you know, £1, £2, enough for a cup of coffee or to get her hair done, because she needs her hair doing again, don't you? You do.
I haven't had it done in a year.
No, you said to me.
It's a whole year since I last had it done.
I know. Joe says it's not for her hair, really, is it?
No, it's for a camera. We want a really good camera.
So we're raising funds to buy a DSLR camera, which we can have here in the studio, which means we don't have to use this laptop because the microphones, as you might have noticed, have now gone off.
Can you hear the difference?
So the difference is we've had to plug the charger into the laptop, so we got power, right? So we have to get power. Going back on the story, then if you want to donate, just scan that QR code scan the QR code with your phone, and it'll send us a nice little message as well. We get a message back from myself and Rogue, and we'll connect you as well. And if you want to ask any questions, or you'd like us to talk about something on the show, let us know, because we will do that as well. We'd like to engage our audience, which we're going to come to at the end of the show as well, with your comments and your questions. I think at this juncture, gentlemen, our time is almost up.
Thank you.
We always like to ask our guests a question before we let them go, don't we, before we do our bit. So what would you like to ask?
Can it be anything?
Well, Dave, are you ready for anything?
Yeah, I'm single. I'm single and I'm available this Saturday.
Amazing. Okay, can you send me a chauffeur, please?
Your wish is my command.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. You've got a list, by the way. You've got a list of things you need to put in place before you can.
I think you should ask Dave the question, because I would ask him something really inappropriate and probably get told off.
I know, it's fine with the laptop.
Well, you can always DM me.
Well, we're unfiltered, uncensored anyway, so you're fine, Dave. I think mine's a boring one. It's the usual one, David. If there's someone you could bring back from the dead, who would it be and why?
Baroness Thatcher. To be Prime Minister again.
Right, okay.
That's amazing.
Thatcher,
somebody else said that.
Someone said Thatcher, didn't it?
It was Ben Habib.
Oh, was it? Yeah, because
we interviewed Ben and we said, who would you actually have, as the next Prime Minister if you had to vote? Was it Thatcher or Keir Starmer?
Well, there's no competition.
And he said, there's no competition.
No. Right, Shoaib, I'm going to let Rogue ask you the question now. Then your turn.
Oh, no, now I've got to think. I wasn't getting ready for Shoaib.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
No. Oh, gosh.
Just think of a good question you can ask him. I think.
Shoaib, you're really hard.
His wife makes cracking cakes.
Oh, my gosh. Can we just quickly talk about her cakes? Because what is her little company called?
Whose?
Your wife.
Oh, wife. Sorry, it's
how
called.
Many how many do you have?
So I was waiting for her. So her company is called the Cancelled Baker. So because we've been cancelled by everybody, so it's called the Cancelled Baker. That's what it's called.
Oh, right, okay.
The Cancelled Baker. Is she
on?
Yeah. What's she on? Is she on Facebook? X?
Facebook. Check it out. Just Facebook, because I think the Instagram and everything else got banned. So it's only what we've got right now. It's the Facebook. And right now she only does it for Swansea, because we don't have any delivery or anything else at all. So yeah, that's what she does. So yeah.
Well, guys, it's been wonderful having you both on. Sorry for taking up so much of your time.
No problems.
Anytime. Much. Thank you, Dave.
Do you mean that? Because I'll be asking you again.
Yeah, anytime. Yeah, anytime.
That's good. And thank you for sharing the broadcast.
We didn't actually ask Shoaib a question though.
Well. I know it's going to come to. I know. What was your question?
I don't know. I still am trying to think, because mine would be really naughty, but
what colour box has you got on? Something like that, is it?
No. It's just going through your head.
For me, that's not. I don't swing that way, if you know what I mean.
I did. There's certain sort of podcasts I do, which I particularly enjoy, and this is one of them. So I also particularly enjoy Voice of Wales as well. Because you have a bit of banter. Normally it's very stiff and straight, and this is what I think, and this is what I'm saying. You have a bit of a laugh. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to. I obviously concentrate and think about what I say, but there's obviously also I can also I can flirt with Rogue as well. So
we love it. I love it. We can flirt any day you'd like.
Well, I'm lying. I really want to be with Richie, but there you go.
I told you I don't back to the other side, right? I don't back to the other side.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Shoaib, if you could vote for me or Rich to be the next president.
Prime Minister.
No, I want to be president. Because obviously I'm not going to get into trouble and get arrested.
No.
So who would you vote for?
Oh, it's a very hard one because I like both of you equally, but I would say I don't want to look Richie.
In the back, hang on a second. I've got a coin here. Right, heads or tails?
I say heads.
Heads or tails? Heads. Right.
Heads for Richie.
Oh, right, it's Richie. Hello, big.
You dumped.
Sorry, Rogue. You become Miss Marple and an elderly spinster. So, sorry, you missed your chance. You can beg in my DMs tomorrow morning, but all you like.
Cheers, Dave, for booting you off the stage now.
Do you think is it too early to be wearing this sweater or not? Is it too early to be wearing the Christmas jumper, or is it okay?
We've got a comment here actually. Ask him about his sweater and why he thinks
it's
okay.
Well, there you go.
Yay! Woo! Actually,
we should wear.
Where are ours? We haven't got any Christmas
too early
hats.
for Christmas hats, man.
I've got a few of these. I
think it's lovely. But Dave, I have one other question for you.
Yep.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 5 days ago is my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where was my present?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the. Haven't you received it yet?
No, the post is on straight there, is it, or something like that?
Do you know what?
I thought I'd arranged it perfectly. So, where were those livery men? A coach and horses turning up at your place to hand it over.
Well, I didn't get it, so maybe you got a digit wrong in my address.
You got my present, Rogue, haven't you? I know, Richie, I was supposed to send it to you, but because I had a big thing, but I sent it directly to Rogue.
We might get loads of videos for your birthday from different people.
Do you know what I did? Why didn't you get Dave on the video?
Dave? Oh, I told you because I haven't spoken for ages.
I had a really lovely video from Ben Habib, Dan Wootton, Paul Burgess, Richie, Liam Tufts, everybody wishing me a happy birthday. And I have to say, it was really beautiful. So thank you so much for putting that together. That was a lovely birthday present.
It was a pleasure.
It was amazing.
Not a pressure, it was a pleasure.
So guys, that is the end.
That was a wrap. Thank you ever so much for joining us. And more importantly, thank you to all of you for watching the show tonight.
Absolutely.
Some of you from sunny Spain, we know, we spoke to you earlier, and some of you, wherever you are, watching on your phone, on your laptop, your iPad, you might even be in the bath watching. Because Dave, who I spoke to earlier, our friend, I phoned him earlier, and guess where he was? He was in the bath. That's right, and we had a lovely conversation, and I'm not in touch with my gay side. Just thought I'd clarify that. And we had a lovely conversation. Dave's on you. He's going to clip that, Dave. But guys, what we'd like to say to our audience before we go, over to you first, Dave. What we'd like to say to Sinners audience, have a final few words with them.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very, very flattered. I'm Dave Atherton 20 on X. If you want to DM me, be very happy to reply to your message. Far away. If any of you guys are around on the 16th of December, that's probably going to be a Tuesday. We're having a so-called far-right party in London to celebrate Christmas and Hanukkah and Christmas and what have we. So you're very welcome to join us. We had a absolutely fantastic time last time. We were there for 5, 6. We were there, from the start to the finish of when the pub was open. So, so do DM me. Do DM me if you want to join me. It'd be in central London, and and Saints and Sinners have been invited. So I hope you Shoaib, you're welcome to join us as well. Or perhaps maybe what we should, maybe plan B would be, why not have a Welsh party? I can get the train down. I can get.
That'd be amazing. Two. We like two parties.
Let's do a Saints and Sinners one.
Let's have and we'll come over to you.
We could
Far right.
We could have a fancy dress, Saints and Sinners as well.
Shall I dress up in my Viking attire?
You could do it. I'll get the ticket. So anyway, moving on quickly. Thank you everyone so much. Shoaib, to you, because I know you've been a great supporter of Saints and Sinners and what Rogue and myself have been doing over the last 10 months, 11 months. Would you like to speak to the floor is yours, sir. Would you like to speak to the audience?
Oh, well, I would just like to say thank you very much for everybody watching the show today, and thank you very much for Rogue and Richie for having me on. It's an honor to be here with Dave Atherton as well. So yeah, thank you very much for having me, and keep supporting these guys. They're doing some amazing things, and hopefully in the future in Wales we will see Advance UK.
Yeah, fantastic. Absolutely right. And we love you all. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Wherever you're watching, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on X, we are going to be on Facebook soon as well, streaming Rogue, aren't we? Because a lot of people have been telling us we need to go on there. We're on TikTok, by the way. And what's the handle for TikTok?
I don't even like it anymore. I just keep on getting shadow banned the whole time. How many accounts do I get closed down on TikTok? It's a load of shite.
Yeah, it is. But you had 5,500 on there one stage. It was blown up. You were doing amazing on there, and all of a sudden it just
TikTok censored me.
I don't know why. Why would they do that?
I think I've got a potty mouth.
No, you don't.
I think I do.
That's why I pray, and she just
sins. Okay, on that note, we love you all.
And
thank you so much.
Scan that QR code and leave a
show
small
up that
donation.
way.
It shows the love and it lets us know. You can send a message to us as well via that app. Scan the QR code and ask us any questions, anything you'd like us to discuss on the show in the future. Because we often put the program out to our guests, but we'd like to know what you want us to talk about. So please let us know. And once again, as Rogue said, thank you ever so much. And on that final note, Rogue, Buffoon said here, I'd vote.
Buffon, not buffoon.
I can't see.
63. I'd vote for Rogue to be the president, although, you know.
I vote for Rogue, but only what?
Only till she's cured of her menopause.
Yeah, and on that note, folks, it's good night from me, and it's good night
from me.
Bye.
Love you.